What's going on, you guys? It is tier list time. This is going to be my first tier list, so if it's a little weird, I've never done this before. But if you didn't know, tier lists are divided into tiers. The lower you go, the kind of underperforming Pokemon go, and the higher you go, the better they're going to be in. So I'm going to waste no time and start off with our D tier. These Pokemon, honestly, there's not going to be a few in there because I already know who's going to be in there, but these guys are kind of lacking. They're not the best. There's so many better options. And with that being said, surprise to nobody, I'm going to put Crustle in the D tier. This character has been struggling for a long time. It is a defender, so it's like has a lot of HP, but like it doesn't really do anything. Crustle kind of is slacking. It's not really like a defender like Snorlax or like Blastoise. It's kind of like that, like run in, be super annoying, kind of run back out, score some points. So it's like it doesn't do enough damage. It has a lot of HP, but it kind of gets ripped because it has no range. So this character kind of trash. So yeah, he's at the bottom of the list. And joining him in D tier is gonna be Serena. This character is very bad. It was like, if you didn't know, it was very, very powerful last year at the World Championship. Like, this guy was crazy, but I think they figured it out that it was a little too strong, so they want to tone it down. But I think they toned it down a little too much because it's not really doing that good. I don't know when they're gonna buff Serena because it's like they know how it is to be really strong. They gotta find that middle ground, but they haven't touched it in a while. So as of right now, this character is pretty low. But honestly, besides these two characters, I think all Pokemon in this game are really, really good. So that's gonna be done with the D tier, and now I'm gonna go into the C tier. These Pokemon are struggling in the meta right now. They're not really like the worst in the game, obviously, but they really are struggling. I only wanted to put two in here because I feel like these Pokemon could still pop off, but it's very situational. And I'm going to start it off with Gengar. Gengar is a solo queue demon. If you do not know how to play against this character, this guy is crazy threatening. But a little bit of CC, like this kind of gets shut down. But if you are ahead the entire game, he kind of cooks. But since the meta is so like reliant on these heavy defenders with a lot of HP, it's hard for Gengar to really like kind of do what it has to, because it's getting its combo off, but it's not going to kill who we're trying to get. So it's like you're kind of just sitting there and you kind of can't run away. I'm also going to put Absol with Gengar. They did this kind of the same thing. They really want to go in and kind of like get a kill and keep going, but if you can't get the first kill on the defenders under the front, you really kind of can't do what you have to do. So these characters, not the best, but not terrible. Obviously they can pop off still, especially Gengar. He can still pop off, but it's just a little underwhelming. Also, these guys kind of need the jungle because in the beginning they're kind of trash. So like you kind of need to bring them jungle, and there's just so many other better jungle options. There's not really like, especially once you get higher up, there's a lot of better jungles. So it's like, and they can do the same thing they can do, but just have like better. So it's like you don't really need these guys. They're okay, but not the best. But again, a lot of Pokemon are really good. So that's the end of the C tier. Now I'm gonna go into the B tier. The B tier are Pokemon that are honestly pretty good, but they kind of get outclassed, and they're kind of weird spot right now because they can kind of do like one thing really, really good, but that's kind of it. And what better Pokemon to start off with than Talonflame? Talonflame, really good secure. Its burst damage is really, really high, but just like Gengar and Absol, it kind of, everybody is so tanky right now. Gengar kind of, Talonflame, my fault. That kind of goes in, and it doesn't really do much after that. Like, it can fly in, do its big damage, and then kind of fly back out. But if you catch it when it flies down, it's just kind of dead. It can't really team fight like at all, but it also has a really good secure. So if you don't take this thing out like at Rayquaza, it can steal it and win the game. So don't sleep on Talonflame. Another one, it's like you kind of got to put it in the jungle because it kind of can't lane. So it just, there's better jungles out there, so like, and secure Pokemon. So it's like, why would you kind of pick Talonflame? It's kind of in a weird spot. Not bad by any chance, but like it's underwhelming. But another Pokemon I'm gonna put to join Talonflame is gonna be, this one hurts me a little bit, but Tyranitar is not doing so good. Another one, it needs that jungle, so it needs a lot of, I mean, it evolves level 9, so you're not getting that burst damage to level 9, and when it comes down to the lane to kill, it can kind of get stomped out. So it's like, this Pokemon needs a lot of XP, but it still does a lot of damage. I think this Pokemon is honestly one of the lower ones because like everything else is so much better, but like I think the Pokemon is still really good. I got kind of scared with Tyranitar, so I don't really mess with it that much, but like its win rate is really low, its pick rate's really low, only because it still needs that XP, and when it goes in, there's just better options. So Tyranitar, man's struggling, but another one I was looking to put in the B tier was Pikachu. This character is super underrated, I feel like, but at the same time, it's super kind of bad. Does a lot of damage for a long time. Like, it's always with this both movesets doing a lot of CC, doing a lot of damage, but like, it's so easy to kill. You kind of can't, like, you don't really have to respect it as much as you probably should because it's so frail. So like, bro, Pikachu just kind of gets like OHKO'd by a lot of Pokemon. Doesn't really have that much mobility, and for the most part, like I know with Volt Tackle, it has to jump in on somebody, so when it's going through, you know where it's gonna jump back, so just like line it up and you're gonna get it. Like, it's gonna get kind of stomped out. Electro Ball is a good secure, it does a lot of damage, but like this doesn't really do like enough. What else does Pikachu have? It's oh, like Thunder and Thunderbolt, like they're good area, but you can kind of like, there's better secures or like CCs and stuff, so it's like, it's just there. Its Unite move isn't good in like a pinch. It does a lot of damage, a lot more than you think, because like, even I know with like the Shedinja doll, you can put your like your moves out and then Unite move and then just hide in the doll and it'll still hit everybody around you, so it's still good, but it just, this Pokemon being so easy to kill really brings it down, and like its moves are kind of like, you can kind of get around it, but I think Pokemon's a little slept on because like there's so much better options, but it's like, how do I want to put it, it's always doing damage, it's always attacking something like the entire time, so it can stack up a lot of damage, but competitive teams don't really want to use it, so that's where, you know, Pikachu goes. Another Pokemon that just got buffed, but I still think is a little mediocre, which really hurt me because I was a main, is Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff got a reduction on Sing, so it has more Sings frequently, but I don't really think that Sing is just good enough. Like, even if you get your Sings off, like, it takes a lot to kill some of the bigger Pokemon, so like this Pokemon's kind of struggling. Also, it has to be really close, it has to be up in the front, it has a lot of HP, so it's kind of more of like this defender supporter role, but like, it doesn't really, I don't know, it doesn't really support it like how it used to do it back in the day. Also, its Unite move is good, but it's not, with like Pokemon like Umbreon, I kind of just take out that shield, so you can kind of just, like, it doesn't do anything. So, Wigglytuff, still really pretty good. The rollout build is okay too. I mean, on the new map, you have to be in certain spots to kind of get it. Like, it's still pretty good. Maybe I think it's gonna end the B tier. I think maybe it could. No, I don't think it could be an A tier actually. No, I don't think it could be an A tier. Yeah, no, I don't think it could be A tier. Wigglytuff is struggling for a little bit. But speaking of A tier, we're gonna enter the A tier. So this is Pokemon that are really good, but they're kind of like middle of the road. Like, they're good, but there's better options. But like, they're still good. Like, they can still pop off. Pokemon start with Mr. Mime. He's good. He's just kind of good. Like, he does everything. The barrier is really good. The confusion, if you put the confusion into the barrier, there's a lot of damage. It's still really good. But like, let's say you miss your confusion or your barrier, you're kind of just there. And his Unite move is annoying. He jumps in and starts dancing. It's okay. I just can't really say like he kind of turns the tide of the match. He's kind of there. It's just a lot of damage if you kind of get him fed, but towards the end he kind of falls off a little bit. So like, it's good. It's good. Like, and in the beginning of the game, it's secure is really good with like fake out and confusion. Really good secure. It can be a bully in the lane, but kind of falls off. You kind of have to position it in a really good way to make it like really effective. The barriers are really strong, especially at the final stretch, but after they go away, it's kind of just there. I don't know. I don't really like this Pokemon that much. I might put him into the B tier. No, I'm keeping him in A tier. I'm gonna keep him in A tier because I don't know. I don't really click with this Pokemon. The next one I'm gonna put is Sableye. This Pokemon, again, another one like Serena, where when it released and like it had its time in the shine, like it was really strong. Like Sableye was annoying. Everybody hated it. They nerfed it. It kind of got to this point where they switched the moveset. Instead of picking like Shadow Sneak and the Confuse Ray, they kind of went for like Knockoff and Feint Attack, I think it's called. But then like in one of the most recent patches, like last month, they nerfed it again, where they took its attack stat down and its HP, so now it's even easier to kill. That felt a little weird because I think before it was in a good spot, but I don't know. The Pokemon is still really good. I think the Feint Attack with like the fake Aeos points is really effective because you can see on the map like whoever runs into it, so it has a really good like control. I think on solo queue it might be a little harder to carry, but I think in a coordinated team setting, this Pokemon is really, really good. But it's just okay. I don't know. It's maybe it can go up or maybe a little. I think maybe down a little bit more. I think A is fine. It's the middle of the road. It's a good supporter, but there are better options. The next one is gonna be a Pokemon that kind of fell off. That's Scyther. Scyther, I put it as a speedster because it's a lot more than a speedster. It comes from Scizor, which is an all-rounder, but he kind of goes in and goes back out. Like it's a lot like a speedster. And like in general, all the speedsters are kind of struggling besides a few of them. It just does a lot of damage and it has to get in your face. But again, with all these bulky defenders, I mean, we haven't talked about one besides Crustle, and we're halfway up the tier list, so all the defenders are really good right now. So it has to be a level curve. It has to be in the jungle. It can kind of run lane if you stack, but I think in the jungle, when it comes out level 5, it's really, really strong. I think Scizor is more like the laner, but I don't know. It's still really strong. People, again, when it came out, it was competitively all over the place. Like, it was really strong. So they kind of nerfed it a little bit. It's kind of in a good spot right now where it can still carry a game, but if you stun Scyther and Scizor, they just get turned off. So it's like, and the game has a lot of heavy defenders and stuns. So it's like, every time there's a stun focus meta, he's going to go down a little bit. But A tier is still solid. This is a while for me to put, because I thought the Pokemon used to be like S tier back in the day, but Greninja's falling off. He fell off like pretty hard. It just doesn't feel like it still does a lot of damage. So like the end, in the beginning, again, another you have to jungle Greninja, but like it's strong, but towards the end, its Unite move kind of gets like, it doesn't really do the amount of damage you think it would. It kind of gets like pushed away. It's okay. Its Surf build is probably, I think, my favorite because it's that secure. Having that secure on a jungle is very important. I mean, like the water shuriken does a lot of damage, don't get me wrong, but the secure on the water surf, excuse me, is really, really good. Even like smoke screen, super annoying. You really can't catch it. It just goes away. So it can get out of team fights pretty good, but it's really, really frail. Like, I think he has one of the lowest HP stats in like the game. So it's like, once you get a hold of him, he's dead. So unless he gets out Shadow Sneak or like double team, but still solid. I think in the beginning of the game he gets really strong, but towards the end it kind of falls off. But Greninja's still a good character. I'm gonna put my boy Machamp in the A tier. I play a lot of Machamp, so like he is still really, really good. Like if you get him fed, he's a really good top lane. You do not jungle Machamp. He does not need a jungle. He can lane very well. But again, he can't really muscle through the bigger tanks in the game. He can if he's leveled up, but if he's on the same level, you kind of really can't. Still really solid. It has a lot of critical hit naturally, so like does a lot of damage. Yeah, I know if you get to level 13, if you're using cross chop, it gets like a stack, so it has like more critical hit. It's really good. You also have like submission and close combat. Either okay. Submission does a lot of CC, but you kind of need to be coordinated with it. And then I think it's dynamic punch. I don't know, the one where he jumps down and like that's a really good move. It does a lot of damage, but it also puts him in like a dangerous situation where he's like in the middle. Usually, if you dynamic punch, you can get more than one. You're gonna be in the middle of the fight, so he really has to either knock everybody out when he's in the middle or just run away. So Machamp's in a good spot. Like it's okay. It could be a little, maybe buff him a little bit because it feels like he's a little kind of slacking, but like in its Unite move, I can wipe out a whole team. Like its Unite move is really strong, but people kind of know how to play around it where you can kind of run away from him, like, you know, because he's all beat red and like smoking. But like if you run away from him, it's fine, but he has a lot of mobility where he can chase you. So taking out like the carrier on the other team, because he's really strong with like Unite, you can knock out like somebody if you really want to, get a lot of XP. But I don't know, there's a lot of better all-rounders in the game, so like he's kind of just there. Another one I want to put is my boy Char. He's a real, I mean, they buffed him a while ago, a few patches ago, so it's like he's still really good. But another one, he's dependent on the jungle. So if you don't really have jungle Char, laning Char is not very good. Like he's straight up kind of trash. But again, his Unite move is straight insane. I think after adding like the Shedinja doll, if you kind of get Unite, like if you charge using Unite, you kind of sit in there for a little bit and you kind of just like bait him to leave, or if he's standing on top of you, like it's whatever, but you're wasting his timer. I know Fire Punch and I think Flare Blitz has a lot of CC, and it's like a lot of pop-ups in CC. It's okay, but I like Flamethrower and Fire Spin or Fire Blast. I don't know, it's a lot of fire, but he does a lot of damage. He has to be really close to you. It's the Unite move being on a lower cooldown is super strong because the Unite move is one of the best in the game, straight up. So yeah, don't sleep on Char. Like a little lower because there's a way to get around the Unite move. Him being so centralized on the Unite move, it's surprisingly easy to, you know, get rid of. If you like the Ninja doll, or you just use full heal when he jumps at you, he'll bump his head and you'll lose like 10% of the Unite charge, and you can just kind of get him after that. So like, it's really dependent on if you can hit your Unite move, because like once it comes to the end of the game and you have like your Unite move and you miss it, you're probably gonna die. So like all his XP just gets lost because you missed the Unite move. So Char is good, but like him being dependent on the central kind of brings him down a little bit, and it's being super easy to dodge the Unite. So he's still good though, don't get me wrong. But next I'm gonna put Garchomp. This makes me really happy because this character used to be like D tier garbage for like the first like year of the game, straight up. But now he's in a pretty good spot. The new items helped him out. Like I know like the Rapid Strike Scarf, and even like Draining Crown. Like does a lot of damage. It's just like he can rip a lot of damage, but he has no secure. So it doesn't matter if you deal 99% of the damage of a spawn. If you don't get that 1% at last HP, you'll lose. You'll get no XP. So he's really good at like ripping objectives and stuff. But if you snipe it on Garchomp, he's kind of just, it's whatever. Like he just did that for nothing. He's kind of hard to deal with because he's in your face a lot. So like getting him off you is a lot because he has a lot of mobility. So you kind of have to, you know, put him in his place. But still solid. His Unite move is okay. It's kind of tricky to use a little bit, so it's like you can kind of get around it, but not bad. Garchomp's still good, just not like excellent. I don't know how they would buff him to be like really strong, but like not overpowered because he does a lot of damage. But I think he's in a good place right now. So yeah, that's what Garchomp's gonna be. Next, I'm gonna put our boy Aegislash. They just buffed his Shadow Claw build. I think it's okay, but I think the Sacred Sword and King Shield, or whatever it's called, that's gonna be really good. I mean, kind of like Serena I mean, it gets competitive play, but they nerfed his early game, which is kind of because his lanes, you can't really bring jungle with him. You can, but you should probably lane him because he's really good at laning and stacking. I don't know, he has a lot of HP, he does a lot of damage, a lot of like stuns, but sometimes it just feels like he gets stuffed out. Like, I don't know. It's good. Maybe a little low on this tier list, but I think, I don't know. I've been seeing every time I play him, I kind of just go in and I get killed before I can do anything. So it's like but even if I do like do my stuff, it's like he doesn't really a good job like killing. So it's like, I don't know, just good. But again, the all-rounders are really good right now. At least a lot of them are really good. So it's like you really wouldn't want to pick him over others. But H-Dash is still pretty good. His Unite move is really good on secure, like, but it's very tight. You kind of have to aim it really good. But still a solid Pokemon. Next, I'm gonna put Dragapult, and maybe he's a little too high because I know like he's not the best, but I think maybe it's a flaming hot take. He's solid. Like, I think the when he spins around in a circle, I don't even know, dragon dance, or I don't know, with like dragon breath, like he did a lot of damage because he keeps on going around and it's kind of hard to hit him. Also, he if you get a kill, it'll reset the cooldown, so you can kind of go from one to the other to the other to the other. Like you can snowball pretty hard with this thing. But even like the Shadow or Phantom Force and Shadow Ball is solid. He gets out. He kind of goes and gets out, but he is so frail where like any part of CC will knock him out because he's so weak. Like his HP is so low. There's another thing, like it's not impossible to get it on the move that he goes in a circle. I don't know the name of it right now, my fault, but like you can get it, or you can just know where he's going to be at the end of it. But he does a lot of damage in the back of the team fight. If you can position him really good, I think he's really strong. But if you can't, you kind of get messed up. So still a solid. There's like a really big flaw with his HP, but a really strong positive with his offense. So like I think middle of the road for Dragapult is solid. Let's see some of the defenders now, because these guys are. I think one of the weakest defenders is actually going to be Snorlax. Only because this guy is like the most defender. Like he doesn't really do a lot of damage. He's great at defending, but wait, some of these now, like these some of the high offense Pokemon, like once he has his block out, like he's kind of just sitting there, and if you get somebody pushed away, you're still sitting there. So like the range attackers, since it's so good right now, they can kind of just like knock him out. So he kind of just sits a lot. But like even like the heavy slam, you go in heavy slam, you block, and then you're kind of just sitting there. You kind of gotta run out. But he's really good at like pushing people away from like the point, even into like the walls. If you can get your positioning really good into a wall, it's really strong. It's really annoying, but I think he has to do a little bit more damage. The flail and the yawn build, don't play that. That's not really good. Actually, I know people have been reading, I think, block and yawn or heavy slam and yawn. I don't know, but I don't know. He's very honest. You have to be very coordinated to make him work. So I think on like solo queue, it's like even lower because you have no communication on solo queue. But like in a competitive team, he's always going to be one of like the most focused defender. Like he gets you up. Like he doesn't get like fight. He's not all around. He's a defender. Like the most defender in the game. So still really good, but like there's a lot of better Pokemon right now. So I'm gonna put two more because like these guys are still good, but like I'm gonna put Mamoswine and I'm gonna put Goodra. They're okay. I'm talking about both of them because they kind of do like kind of the same thing. Mamoswine got buffed. It still has a little low range. Its Icicle Crash is still really good, but again, once you kind of use your moves and go in, he doesn't have enough HP. Well, he does, but like he can't really sustain. He kind of gets hit by these special attackers. And his Unite move is just really bad. I'm not gonna lie, it's straight kind of trash. Yeah, Mamoswine is still okay. I think in the beginning of the game, in the early game, this dude's a beast. This guy is strong. Like, you do not mess with Swinub and Pillow-Swine in the beginning. But he does evolve a little late, so you kind of can, like, once he's Pillow-Swine for a little bit, you can kind of mess him up a little bit. Him evolving so late doesn't really help. But Mamoswine's still good. Still solid, even after the buffs. Maybe he might be a little higher after the buffs. I haven't seen him too well, but solid. Next time we got Goodra. Goodra maybe up in the A+ tier. I'm gonna put him in A because Goodra's okay. It's really good. Actually, no, I'm gonna put him in the A. it defends very well, but it's more like this all-rounder brawler type Pokemon. So like, it's really good, but the Dragon Pulse build is really good. I don't know, I'm iffy on Goodra because like, actually I think I'm gonna put him in the bottom of A+. Goodra is really good. I can't lie, it's really good. It just kind of, if you don't have like Power Whip, you kind of can't, you kind of like run away from it. So it's like, you can kind of box him out. But once he gets in the middle of a team fight, it does do a lot of damage, but it has to be on the cooldowns to get it. Like, it can kind of get wiped out, or it can kind of brawl. It's like in the middle. I don't know. Goodra is okay. Actually, I'm gonna put him in the top of A tier, I think. A tier, I think. I think A tier is gonna be where it's at. The top of A tier, I think. Actually, no, I forgot one Pokemon. I'm gonna put Caesar. I'm gonna put him underneath Goodra. Caesar's kind of, I love playing this character, but he doesn't really, like, he can sustain his HP because he has like the recovery from Bullet Punch, but like it's not really enough until it gets level 11. Then he gets Shield and it's really good. But either both Double Hit and Sword Dance, like they're really good mobility. But again, like if you stun Caesar, he's kind of knocked out. If you lose his combo, it's done. Like you gotta stun this Pokemon, and since the game has so much stuns right now, he's kind of fallen off. I think he's really good, better than Scyther. I think he's really good, but still a little struggling because he kind of can't do that much damage with his Bullet Punch. You have to like kind of be in the fight for a long time, so like you can kind of jump in the fight, Bullet Punch, and then like you're kind of, if you get CC, you're knocked out. So it's like, it's solid though. If you can keep it in the fight for a long time, it's really good. But I like playing him. He's one of the funnest to play in my opinion. So he's still really good, but not like, not an A+ tier. I think he's right in A, but I'm actually gonna go into A+ tier. These Pokemon are really, really good. They all have really strong like stats and everything, and they're playing really good in the meta. They're just a little bit better Pokemon to play right now, but these are still solid Pokemon on a team. I'm gonna start it off with Azumarill. Azumarill's a weird one because they just buffed its critical hit rate, so there's a lot of more damage in the critical hit. But the problem is, if you aren't fighting one person at the time, it doesn't have critical hit. So it's like a good counterplay to this thing. It's just honestly like just get as close as you can to your teammate, and if you have like a Blissey next to you, just stay next to the Blissey and you're gonna be fine. It starts to get snowball once it knocks everybody out. So if it's like it's fighting two people, like three people, it'll kill one of them, then it might kill two, and then kill three, and that, like just go from one to the other to the other. You can't kill all three at once. You have to go from one to the other, so your positioning has to be really good. It just sometimes when people are so coordinated in a team comp, they get really close together. So it's like, it's really hard to do your thing when people see you and you're not doing your critical hit damage. Aquatail does a lot of damage though. Aquatail is a lot. It's like always on in effect that the cooldown is really, really good on it. I think Water Pulse is one of my favorite moves in the game. Water Pulse, it bounces from teammate to teammate, but the damage is always going to be a critical hit because it hits one person start to start. It's really, really good. Water Pulse Plus. God, it's really good. But Entry Night move is really strong. It kind of, again, it'll get that one person, it just bomb rush them. But it's just weird because it's so strong in a 1v1. Like, it probably can 1v1 like almost everybody in the game and win. It just, once you put it in a team as a fight, the team, it kind of gets falls off because you really can't do its thing. Next, I'm gonna put, let's go to some of these ranged attackers because they have been dodging the tier because they're so strong. I think I'm gonna put Sylveon. Sylveon is good on both of the movesets, Mystical Fire and Hyper Voice. It kind of just doesn't really like, I don't know, like execute very well. Like it's kind of just doing damage the whole time. But if you have like a pocket, like a Blissey, it kind of just heals damage. So it's just at this constant stream of damage. But it can't really like, it doesn't do enough where it's like you get a lot of kills with it. I mean, you can, but like, I don't know, since everything is so bulky, it just kind of keeps doing damage, but it keeps getting the damage healed back from the opponent. So it's like, it's just always up. Also, it's like some of the EVs are very frail. So besides Umbreon, if you get close to it, you're kind of done. But still does solid damage. It's a really good damage. Its Unite move is okay. It's on a way longer cooldown than it should be. It's really long. Also, its Unite move doesn't really do a lot of damage. It kind of like jumps up. It's invincible for a little bit and then like puffs everybody out. But it's kind of just there. I don't know. Sylveon is still really strong. At level 4, it's a beast. I mean, all the EVs at level 4, they're really good. But towards the end, it kind of falls off a little bit. But still not a bad Pokemon. Close to Sylveon, I'm going to put Gardevoir. Gardevoir is super strong. It's just so, kind of like Dragon Ball, it's so frail. If you get close to it, it's just going to, like, die. But no, I think both, it's Future Sight and it's Psyshock, I think it's called. And, like, Moonblast and Psychic, they're really strong. Like, it's a bully in the lane. You could lane this thing, but it's probably better in the jungle, so it comes into the fight as Kirlia. Not bad, though. Its Unite move is really strong if you can hit it. It's super easy to walk out of it, though you kind of miss. But, like, if you use your Unite move, then use your, like, Psyshock or Future Sight inside of it, and throw your other, like, there's a lot of burst damage. It's so easy to get close to it, and it kind of gets knocked out if you get close. But still a lot of damage. I know, like, these all special attackers are really strong at range. So if you keep it at range, it's really good. I think it's an A+ tier for sure. But speaking of range, Decidueye, like the most range in like the game, but it's just the thing where it's like has really good secure, has really good like not mobility, but it's not terrible, I guess. With popping X speed and like Shadow or Shadow Snake or whatever it's called, decent mobility. It's so weak. If you get a hold of this thing, like any stun of it, it's gonna die. Like it has no sustain whatsoever. And I mean, I think people know that because every time there's a Decidueye in the team, all your speedsters and your jungles are gonna like target him because he's the easiest to knock out. So it's like, but I know if you kind of play like this, like defend the president playstyle, where he's in the back, he does a lot of damage. Like, so he's really strong. It kind of has to, you have to play the team comp around the Decidueye for him to be really strong. So still a really good Pokemon, but like it has a really big weakness in the HP. So it's like not the best, but still really strong. It might seem broken because you can't get it, but once you do get it, it's kind of there. And like if you know how to play against it, you'll be fine. Like you can weave out of, like, dodge the Spirit Shackle. So it's like it's still really good. Don't get me wrong, but like there's better Pokemon. I'm gonna put Dragonite A+. Dragonite recently got buffed. It had its attack speed and like I think some of its HP buffed. Don't quote me on that one. I'm not sure, but I know its attack speed got buffed. So I'm always a believer of Hyper Beam. Dragonite is really strong. It can like secure one of the best. But I know people love playing the Outrage build because it's a very strong in-your-face like attacker. It just, again, if you kind of stun it or run away from it, it doesn't really, kind of can't do much. It's really close. If you can kind of put it in the middle of the fight, it does a lot of damage. But again, since the defenders are so strong and they have so much HP, kind of just does a lot of damage, but it can't sustain itself very well. So it's like still really good. It's your Unite move. Kind of just picks a spot and slams down on it. You can use it very frequently, but it's not really like doesn't really change the tide of the game. It kind of just puts him like in a spot that you want, and you can kind of go from there. But still solid. Dragonite is still really good, but not like the best. I'm gonna put Greedent. He is similar to Crustle, but there's a really glaring difference, as Crustle is like 3 tiers underneath. Greedent is so annoying. It is like near impossible to knock this thing out. You can't catch it. Even if you do stun it, it kind of just runs away. Still really solid. It's not really a defender. It doesn't really defend anything. It kind of just scores a lot of points, and it's kind of like brawling in your face, and you can run away. But there's a lot of HP, a lot of mobility. There's a decent amount of damage, but it's just kind of annoying. Like, not bad, don't get me wrong, but it kind of has to be in like a certain team comp, because if you just play it expecting to be a defender, you're not going to defend. It's more of like a speedster, honestly. Just a lot of HP, runs away. So, not a defender. Team comps have to be around it. Like, I know back in the day that Dragonite and Greedent, like Dragonite would have OD secure. Greedent would be scoring points the whole game, and you would win that way. But, still a solid Pokemon, you know. Like, I think he has one of the lowest pick rates because nobody really picking him. Because, like, I don't know, people just don't really know how to play him, or like they just don't want to. He's kind of annoying, kind of toxic. So still solid though. A good Greedent could really be annoying and like kind of mess up the game. So Greedent's my boy. Solid A+ tier. I was thinking about the next Pokemon to put. Maybe too high. I think the Pokemon is really good. I'm gonna put Delphox above Greedent. The thing about Delphox is they just nerfed its flame charge because it was really good, but I think it being doing constant damage, like its cooldowns are really low. Again, with the special attackers, they're really strong because they have like the Silk Spoon, and its Unite move is super strong. Like its Unite move is like, I think it's the highest or the fastest charging one in the game. Like, yo, its Unite move is strong. Like, this thing is. Delphox is good. Again, it's kind of like this UI where it's like it's super frail, so if you get up close to it, you're gonna knock it out. But keep it at a range. Delphox is very strong. Its Unite move, honestly, like the slowdown, if you're inside of it, you get slowed down so much you're probably gonna get knocked out by anything else that comes up its way. So Delphox is really strong. I know it's easy to knock out, but I think it's really, really good if you play right. Solid. Like I think it's really good. Maybe, I know because it is so frail to kind of get, it has to be up closer than the Decidueye, maybe a little lower, but I'm going to put it in the A+. I'm going to join it with my boy Blastoise. Blastoise is really strong. Both of the builds are honestly like really strong. You can either be more of like a defender like Snorlax with Surf and Hydro Pump, or you can kind of be like this all-rounder middle of the fight brawler with Rapid Spin and Water Spout. Either way, Blastoise is really strong. It does a lot of damage. It being Rapid Spin, like you really can't CC it, so it's like it's always in the front doing a lot of damage. There's a lot of range and a lot of damage. Its Unite move is really strong, really strong. It kind of takes a long time to level up. So like in the middle of the game, when you're kind of like War Turtle, you kind of get bullied a little bit because you only have like Water Spout, and that's not really that good. Once you get Blastoise and give it the XP it needs, then you start getting like it's kind of scary. But yeah, it's just that middle, like that level 5 to like level like 7, maybe even like before that, it just kind of doesn't do anything. Like it doesn't do what it's supposed to. It's kind of weak. But Blastoise in the end game, he is very strong. Once you get to the end fight with his Unite move, knocking everybody up, if you position it very well, Blastoise is very strong. Very strong. Underrated pick. Very strong. Next, I'm going to put Cinderace. Cinderace, maybe I have him, I keep on saying that, maybe I have him too high. I think the Pokemon is very strong. It requires the jungle. Lane Cinderace, do not pick it. Please do not pick it. It's very bad. But if you can learn to play it at the range it's supposed to be at in the back, it's very mobile and it's a lot of damage. Like Cinderace does a lot of damage. It just, again, it's kind of easy. Once you get close to it, you kind of knock it out really easy. But again, it gets a lot of damage really quick. Its Unite move, they just buffed it so it doesn't get like knocked out of it so much. Like I think they added like Unstoppable in the beginning when it's like in the air spinning a kick or whatever. So it's still really good. I mean, it's a good snipe. Please don't be like the gold ribbon Cinderace that everybody knows in their games. That's in the top of the bushes of Rayquaza. Their whole team fight is fighting. They're waiting for the snipe. The Rayquaza's low. They just throw the Unite move. They completely miss, and they just wasted the whole team fight. Don't be like that. Play with your team. Be in the back of the Unite move, or of the team fight. Use your Unite move if you have to, but like kind of just play at a range. Cinderace is really good, but again, it's kind of exploitable. Next, I'm going to put Cramorant. Cramorant, this is primarily its Surf, and excuse me, no, it's not the Surf. It's the Hurricane and Air. Oh my God, no, it's not the Surf and Hurricane. It's the Dive and Air Slash. Surf and Hurricane are good. There's a lot of CC, there's a lot of damage, but like the cooldowns are too high, and if you miss it, you're kind of just not really good. The the Dive and Air Slash is like this super mobile mage like attacker with the fish it throws out, the barracudas or whatever. There's a lot of damage in the fish back. They bounce off of the enemy, so it's like you can go from one, like they can bounce off, kind of like Azumiro's water pulse, but it has it so often. It's really good. I think also maybe bring them down a little bit because like it has a high skill ceiling. It's one of the hardest to master. It's Dive and Air Slash build, but like really strong. Its Unite move, it's really good, but like some Pokemon like the Decidueye and even like Cinderace, like it stays in one spot, so you can kind of get it easily. So like it's okay, but like if you position it very well, it's very strong. But still, overall, a really good character. It just takes a lot of skill to play Cramorant, so really hard. Next, I'm gonna put my boy Duraludon. In the recent patch, he just got some buffs and some nerfs. They did more damage to, I believe it's Flash Cannon. It has less cooldown, but the big thing was he does a lot of less damage to the wild spawns on the map. So it's like he would do a lot of damage to Rayquaza at the end, or like the objective. He would be at the bottom ripping it with Dragon Pulse and then just securing it. I guess the developers didn't want him to do that anymore because it was kind of toxic. You know, he wouldn't be like really team fighting. People would just play him to get Rayquaza and win the game. He had one of the highest win rates because he could secure Rayquaza so well. So I think he wanted him to be more of like a team player rather than this machine that can just hit objectives. Both builds are really good. I think Dragon Tail is the secondary move you want to go for. Stealth Rock is good. They buffed it. It's not really like the best because I mean it's okay, but Dragon Tail, because you can kind of jump on him and he's ranged, so he gets knocked out. But Dragon Tail giving him mobility gives him space, so you got to respect his space a little bit. He's one of the fastest. I'm losing my words right now. The fastest attack speeds. Like he does a lot of damage and he has a high critical hit rate. So it's like he can do a lot of damage when you don't expect it. But it's again, if you get close to him, he kind of gets like he's done because he's frail and he has no mobility. But if you play him at range, he's really strong. I always believe in Duraludon. He's one of my favorite characters in the game. Still really good. Slept on a little bit, but the nerfs to the attack like damage of the wild Pokemon is pretty big because I can see his win rate going down. But I want people to play him in general. Just play him because I think he's really strong. Exploitable, but he's still really strong. Next, I'm gonna put Espeon. Espeon is really good. Usually, it used to be Psyshock and I don't know the other moveset, or Psybeam, I think it was. Just this one, like it would target this one area, do a lot of damage and CC to it, and it has so fast of a cooldown. Like I mean, it's one of the scariest in the lane because they can secure all the spawns really good. But recently, people were starting to play its is it Future? No, it's not Future Sight. It's Future Sight is one of them, but it's also Stored Power Espeon. That's the move. Stored Power Espeon. My bad. I don't know why I couldn't think of that name right now, but still really good. Its Unite move is really strong, but if you pop like a full heal, you kind of just walk through it and get it. Does a lot of damage. Has a lot of mobility with Stored Power. Still really good. I mean, the nerfs took it down a little bit because it was really strong, but still a really solid Pokemon, I think. Like it maybe could go a little higher. I think it's just so frail, it can kind of go right here. It's pretty good. But the next one I'm gonna put is one crazy. Maybe it's just me because these buffs are really strong. I'm gonna put our boy Zeraora, and this guy was D tier for like the longest time. This Pokemon is straight up trash, but they recently just buffed it in the newest patch. gets its moves earlier, which was huge for it. Like I think it had its upgraded moves at like level like 12 and like 14, and 14 for like this guy was, you'd never get it. But they brought it down, so it gets its moves earlier. Still, again, it is a speedster, so like it kind of can't stay in a fight for that long, and since everybody is so bulky, it kind of gets like you can laugh at the damage. At least discharge is like good. The volt attacker, when it's like it's on somebody scratching the whole time, like that's really annoying. There's no way to get it around that. But it kind of like Pikachu with before, where once it gets off, like once you know it's done, you probably can just CC it and just knock it out. It's like there's no, unless you like use your other move and like jump away. But I don't know, he's a lot better than he used to be. Let's just say that he's a lot better. Maybe a little too high, but I believe it. I believe Zero Aura. And round out the A tier, I'm gonna put Clefable and I'm gonna put Blissey. They kind of do like the same thing. They're a little different, but still both of them are really strong. Clefable, it is more like an area of healing over time, like it's a slow rate, and Blissey has like this one burst of healing like every few seconds. So it's like, but it can only do one person. So both of them are really strong. I think I'm gonna put Blissey. I put Blissey above Clefable because its Unite move is a deal breaker. I mean, like not a deal breaker, but a game changer. Clefable Unite move is randomized, so you can get, there's like a set of like 5 or 6 Unite moves you can get. Some of them like Hydro Pump and like Close Combat, it's really situational, where it's like it doesn't do a lot of damage. Well, it does do a lot of damage, but like it's really small range. But the other ones like Fly or like Explosion, it gets really strong, but it's on a chance. You can't guarantee you're gonna get whatever you need. Like some situations you're gonna really want Block and you're not gonna get it. Some situations you might get, you really want Fly, but you might get Hydro Pump. Like you're never gonna know what you're gonna get. But so they both do really good healing. Blissey's, I'm gonna say it's a little better because its Unite move, it'll pick one target and like rush at them, and then once you get, it'll do a little CC, it'll pop up and do a lot of healing to the person you picked. It can change the way of a team fight. Like if somebody's low health and Blissey comes rushing, you'll get them off of you, heal them, and then do a lot of damage. So it's like really strong. Both of them are really strong. I think there's a little, some healers that are a little better right now, but still they're really, really strong. Like Clefable and Blissey are still some of the best in the game, like period. But with that, I'm gonna start the S tier. The S tiers are some of the best Pokemon in the game, period. But I feel like they just can't really like, they're not as strong as like the X tier. Like those guys are like the straight best in the game, and there's like with very few flaws. The S tier are gonna be the Pokemon that are like really, really strong all around, but the ones in the X tiers do it a little bit better. And I'm gonna start it off with a Pokemon which is, I don't want to go back to this meta, but Lucario. He's been really bad for a while. Well, not really bad. He's kind of been like underrated, sleep on pick. But they just buffed it. I think it's very strong right now. It's kind of back to where it used to be. Extreme speed is a lot of damage with Bone Rush. Its Unite move charges a lot faster. You kind of just shoot it off like a burst damage. It's really strong. Before it used to be like this charge thing. You charge for like a few seconds and you shoot it, but now you just kind of let it go. So there's a lot of damage. Lucario's always been solid. It never has been bad. It's always been solid. It just, there were better options, but now it's kind of coming on the way back up. I saw a lot of people play with this thing saying like it's the best thing ever. I don't know about that. But so S tier, extremely solid, really, really good. Next to it, I'm gonna put, so getting these defenders out of the way because you guys are starting to run the game. Trevenant. Trevenant was a few patches ago X tier. Like he was insane. He had so much HP, so much healing, so much damage. He did literally everything. They nerfed it, brought him down. Now he's in this S tier spot where he's a really good defender. He does a lot of damage. There's a lot of CC. You cannot get this thing out. He heals so much back. It's really, really good in the front of the team fight. It kind of turns the tide of the game. If Trevenant gets everybody with Woodhammer, yo, you guys are in for it. Like, its Unite move is pretty mid. It kind of just pulls a bunch of trees up from the ground, like a little stun up, but like it's not really that good. but no, still really solid Trevenant. There's not much to say about it because he just does kind of everything. Like solid. Next to him, I'm gonna put Leafeon. Leafeon is one of the newer characters to release. It's a speedster, so, and they just buffed it. Leafeon is very strong. Being a speedster, it kind of gets knocked out easily because it's so frail. But there's a lot of damage. They just nerfed, or they just buffed its Solar Blade, and they nerfed its Razor. I don't know. It's been a Solar Blade, I think. Oh no, not Solar Blade. Jeez. I don't know. It's been in a circle. I don't know. Now it has Air Leaf to play with. That move was trash before they buffed it. It's in a really good spot. Solar Blade does a lot of damage. I know Razor Leaf does a lot of damage too, but both of them are really good. Again, it kind of just goes in, does a lot of damage, and runs back out. It's really good at running out, but if you stun it, you kind of knock it out. But still a really good Pokemon. Leafeon is really solid. Do not sleep on this Pokemon. I forgot to mention, it also requires pretty much a jungle. It can run in the lane because it does evolve at level 4, but I think it's very strong in the jungle. But you could run this thing in lane. I think it's honestly like a 50-50 shot. I think you maybe should run in jungle so it doesn't get killed very easy, but it's a lot of secure, so it doesn't really matter where you put it. It's gonna be really good anywhere. Next, I'm gonna put, dude, my goat, Venusaur, my boy Venusaur. I love this Pokemon. Venusaur has been on the come up. Like, they back in the day, it used to be trash. They buffed it, so it's now it has honestly like 2 moves that you can pick from. Like, both of them are really viable. The Petal Dance build and the Giga Drain. He's out in the field fighting for a long amount of time, but I have him this high because the Solar Beam build has been really doing a lot of damage. I think teams are starting to play around it very well. Has a lot of secure. If you can hit it, there's a lot of damage. But if you kind of miss, it's kind of, you know, is there. No, I think Venusaur is really solid. His Unite move is really strong. Easy to miss sometimes, but there's a lot of damage, like a lot of burst damage. You position Venusaur right, it's going to carry the game straight up. It also kind of is a little EXP hungry, where if it gets 13, it gets really, really strong, but you kind of got to get it that XP first. But it can fight really well, so both movesets are really strong. I'm tempted to put him a little higher, but I'm going to leave him here for now because I'm a little biased. I love Venusaur. But no, still a really solid Pokemon, honestly, like really solid. Next, I'm going to put Glaceon. Glaceon, they nerfed it. It was bugged where it did a lot more damage than it ought to. Now it's in this point where it's still really good. Maybe even a little too strong. It's just you can kind of get it, kill it really easily. So if you can get close to it, there's a lot of burst damage. It's both of its build. I'm not gonna even say the names because I know they're all like the ice or whatever. I don't know really much of the names, but they lock onto you. So like if you locked onto it, you can't run from it because it's gonna hit you all the time. Constant amount of damage, really strong, a lot of damage. Unite move like powers all of its ice up, so like it's really like an instant recharge type of deal. So it's like really strong. Glaceon is really, really good. Yeah, really, really good. Next, I'm gonna put Dodrio. Dodrio. This Pokemon is really strong. However, it feels like every new release counters it. Like, it has a speed meter where if it's running, it'll get faster. But the minute you stop it or put it in CC, it'll lose the meter. So it's like it has to kind of be running in, goes in with its attack, runs back out, rinse and repeat. It has, I think the Drill Peck build is very strong because Drill Peck does a lot of damage, and Jump Kick, like, it can brawl surprisingly well for a speedster. There's a lot of damage, but if you mess up the rhythm of its combos, it's just kind of there. You can't really get out. Maybe your Unite move can run away, but like, I don't know. It just seems like every new Pokemon that has like a stun on it, it low-key gets nerfed because like if you stun it, it's gonna die. Still, it does a lot of damage. Like Drill Peck does a lot of damage. Like it can get a lot of people. It moves a lot of people. Does a lot of damage for a long time. Dodrio is really, really strong. I'm actually happy with where he is right now because he's such a good Pokemon. But like again, they don't really have to nerf it because they're gonna make the Pokemon that comes out with CC, that'll nerf it. So don't nerf it. Just like it's in a good spot, but like they're low gonna keep nerfing it if they keep on adding Pokemon with like stuns and stuff. So it's like it's fine. Next, speaking of nerfs, Chandelure. This Pokemon was, I think, underrated a little bit. When it first came out, everybody around it in the tier list got nerfed, so it kind of low-key went up. Now they just nerfed it because it's had a little less cooldown than it should have. Like it did a lot of moves at a long time. Now Chandelure does a lot of damage. It just, again, it's so frail. If you get close to it, it's gonna get knocked out. But still does a lot of damage throughout the entire fight. I know, like in prison, this turns one Pokemon you hit, like their moves down. It's really strong. Its overheat is constantly doing damage. You're constantly throwing it, doing damage. If you play with Chandelure in the right way at the right distance, it's very strong. It's really hard to like kill it and get it. But I think its Unite move needs a buff because it's really bad. It will shut off the vision and everybody in the area, and like uses like this really strong laser. But the minute it CCs, like it sees by anything, it just turns off. Like it just stops its Unite move. If they made it where it's like its Unite move is unstoppable the entire time, so it's constant laser, I think it'd be even better. But still, really strong. Like Chandelure is, do not sleep on Chandelure. This guy is wild still. Even after the nerfs, it's really, really good. Next, I'm gonna put Comfey. This Pokemon is weird. I feel weird about this one because it's not itself. It's really strong, but like I think once you put it with some of the Pokemon in like the X tier and the upper S tier, then it starts getting annoying. But like it really depends who you put Comfey on. Like if you put Comfey on like even like a Tyranitar, that could bring him like a lot of tiers up. But if you put him on something like Serena, it brings him a little up on the tier list, but like it's not really like that valuable because you are playing a 4v5. So if you knock out whoever Comfey is on, you're just gonna lose her too. Like she's not really gonna get off like in fast enough. You're getting wiped out. Really good healing, really good CC. Its Unite move was really strong. It just, they had to tone it down because when it came out, it was trash, and they buffed it OD, and then it was way too strong, and they brought it back down, which is a nice area. I think it's still a good healer. It just, you kind of have to have a better team because it is a 4v5, so you got to play with that. Next, I'm split on these two because they kind of do the same thing, but like they're both very strong. Well, they're both supporters, spoiler, but I don't know who's better. I think I'm gonna put Eldegoss and Hoopa. I'm gonna think about Hoopa behind Eldegoss slightly. Hoopa, they just buffed it where it gets a lot better on Phantom Force, and its healing on the portal is really good. It was struggling for a while on the new map, but now it's starting to find its footing. Hoopa is very, very strong. It does a lot of healing. It can heal the entire team. Its mobility on the hyperspace hole is straight. You can go from bottom to top in like 2 seconds. It's really strong. Or shoot everybody back to base. Come back really strong. Some teams kind of know if they have a Hoopa to play around it. Like I know before people would play Snorlax because Hoopa was so strong. So if you put a portal down, Snorlax jumps on, just pushes everybody out, and then you have no healing for a little bit. But Hoopa is very, very strong. It's tricky to kill because it's so mobile. Its Unite move is really strong. It brings everybody to one spot. A lot of CC, a lot of damage. Hoopa is very, very strong. And its leveling is really good. Level 4 gets its hole or its trick. Like it's really, really good. Yeah, definitely like one of the best healers in the game, period. But I think a little worse than Eldegoss. Eldegoss, I think it's, in my opinion, like one of the best healers in the game. Eldegoss is straight wild. A lot of it does surprisingly a lot of damage because it attacks so fast, and I don't know why its attack is so high. It does a lot of damage. But with like Cotton, I think it's Cotton Spore, like it surrounds itself with like this white mist, and like it does a lot of damage. It goes in, it gets faster, CCs, everybody jumps up. Or it has like Pollen Puff, I think, where it's like it shoots like a little circle and it heals everybody. There's a lot of healing, there's a lot of damage. CC cooldowns are really low. Even like Leaf Tornado, it's still good. It's a lot more mobility, but it's not like you don't really pick it right now. Its Unite move super nice. You're invincible the entire time. You can't get hit. You're literally above, looming over. If you fall on your teammates, you heal them. If you fall on enemies, you attack them. It's really good. And it also pushes them a lot, like pushes them away. So it gets you distance. Yeah, I think Eldegoss is really, really good. Like, straight up wild. In the beginning of the lane, if you try to stack with this thing, it's probably going to knock you out, honestly, because it does a lot of damage really fast. Even people run X attack on it. Really solid Pokemon. Next, I'm going to put Zoroark. He just got nerfed, actually. I was going to say buffed. A while ago, he got buffed. Now he got nerfed. His attack stat is lower. But this Pokemon is still really strong. He requires combos. So if you don't stop it, it'll do a crazy amount of damage. But if you stop it during the combo, it kind of has to run out. Like, it's done. It's still really solid. Like, it does a lot of damage. It's very quick. It's very easy to chase with this thing. It does a lot of damage. You can't really stop it if it gets going. Pop a full heal, it just finishes combo automatically. But again, it kind of just has to run out, and if it can't run out safely, it kind of gets killed. But I think it actually is the best of the speedsters, which is crazy because it was kind of trash for a while. But I definitely think it does the best job. Its Unite move is like a circle. It goes above him like it's an explosion. It's really close. You have to be really close to him, but he's no problem with getting really close in your face. So no, this Pokemon slept on. I think after the nerf, it fell down from the X tier into the S tier. I think it fell down, but still really, really solid. Next, I'm going to put Ninetales. This Pokemon straight up is really good. They buffed it a few patches ago, and now it's always like been in the top tier of like tier list because it's really strong. And it's like the Avalanche and like the Avalanche and like Blizzard, that is really strong. Like, it does a lot of damage. If you're stuck on the like the Avalanche for a while, you'll be frozen. Does a lot of damage. Its Unite move is honestly like a finisher. It does like area effect damage. Kind of basic, still really good. And its leveling is very good. It was level 4, so it gets moves really quick. Ninetales is really strong. Ninetales is very, very strong. Next, I'm gonna put Buzzwole. This guy has got one of the biggest glow up like ever. He's been like really mid, but first from them changing it's the fact that it gets its muscle gauge from wild Pokemon. It's like always having its muscle gauge up, and then they buffed its like defenses, its attacks will do more damage. Like, this guy is crazy. I think definitely one of like the best top laners you can have. Like, once you get level 5 and you have like the superpower or even like the leech life, you can kind of knock out what you want, and your team will finish. Like, he's a team player. He's definitely a team player. He can 1v1 very well, but put him in a team fight, they're gonna fall. And also, he has a lot of CC. I know if you play like superpower and Smackdown, you can, once you get level 11, you can superpower somebody, Smackdown, wait for them to fall, grab them, fall with Smackdown, then do another superpower. He does a lot of damage. His burst damage is insane. His Unite move is kind of mid. It'll go in like a straight line, and it'll pick the lowest HP, and you execute them. It does a lot of damage. It's a finisher, but like, if you miss it, you just don't do anything. But no, this character is crazy. Like, his HP is very high. He's in the fight for a long time. He does a lot of damage. The muscle meter, like, always having it pretty much on, like, is wild. You can target like any of the lower tier, like the special attackers, and you're gonna like Oko. Like, if you do combo and Cinderace, he literally can't do anything, so you're gonna die. Like, Decidueye, forget it. Like, even some of like the other Pokemon, like, even like some of the defenders, he can kind of brawl very well. He can't really like knock out like Snorlax or Goodra, but like, he does a lot of them where his team can finish the job for him. So nah, this guy is crazy. Buzzwole is actually crazy. Next, I'm gonna put fighting type Urshifu. I think when you put him in solo queue, it's a little worse, but on a competitive team, he's very good because his cure is so strong. The Wicked Blow does a lot of damage. He can team fight pretty well with Throat Chop. It's just its main ability is to secure your objectives. If you have this on your team, you should have a lot of the objectives. Like, if you position yourself well, you're gonna do your damage. And like, its Unite move, honestly, targeting one person and pretty much getting an Oko on them, or like the combo, is really strong. Urshifu is really strong right now, but I think well, the water one is a little better. So, like, prefer the water one over the fighting one, but the fighting one's still really strong in its own way. Like, honestly, like one of the best secures in the game, if not like the best secure. Next, I'm gonna put our boy Lapras. Lapras, he used to be an X tier because he was so strong. They just nerfed it. Now players are gonna use his Perish Song and Ice Beam. I think it's very, very strong. The fact that it has like that secure once it gets like a lower tier of its health bar, it just automatically dies. Like, it's very strong. If you get like some of the tankiest Pokemon in the game, like other Lapras, like Slowbro, that are really hard to kill, throw Lapras, have your team knock its health down. It's when you get to the third Perish Song, it's gonna die automatically. So very, very strong. It does a lot of damage. Its Unite move, very fast cooldown. Though if you use it before, like if you come into contact with Lapras, it'll like bump its head and it won't do very good. But if you stop the Unite before, it'll shoot like a wave out, and that wave does a lot. It puts up like really good situations where it's like it can wipe a whole team. If you put something on, oh, I forgot to mention that. You can put something on the back of Lapras and they'll come with you. Like, I know a popular thing that people would use Cramorant's ult where it's supposed to be stationary, but like if it's on Lapras is spinning a circle, Cramorant's like doing a lot of damage like with it. It can open up a lot of team fights. It starts up the team fights very well. Lapras is a really good defender. It's more of an all-rounder because it's brawling the whole time. Has a lot of HP recovery. This thing is really good. I love Lapras. Lapras is really strong. The last one in the S tier is a little crazy because I have it in between two Pokemon right now. I'm going to give one the X tier, one the S tier. I'm going to put Umbreon in S tier. This Pokemon was X tier. This guy was insane. Its Foul Play and Snore was insanely broken. Highest win rate, highest pick rate, like insane. They just nerfed it where it has more cooldowns on it. The nerfs were impactful, don't get me wrong, but it kind of just fell like one tier. It's still at the top of the S tier. Maybe not the X tier, just fell a little bit down. It's still going to be really strong. I think it's honestly probably one of the best defenders, like straight up. Like, well, you'll see. There's only one more left. But, no, this Pokemon is really strong. In the counterplay, especially with like your Eldegoss Unite move, your Blissey Unite move, your really tough Unite move. If it has a lot of shield and you use your Unite move, it'll just take it. Like, it won't knock your shield out. It'll just take the shield and put it on the Umbreon. So Umbreon has a lot of shield on it, so it's even harder to get. This Pokemon is wild. Even like now that they buffed its Wish and Mean Look, I personally thought Mean Look was one of the best game moves in the game. Like, period, when it first came out, I was like, oh, this move is straight up broken. I think now it's into that role where it's like, if you play Foul Play and Snore, it could be like this in-your-face all-rounder defender. But if you play Mean Look and Witch, it's more like the supporter. So, like, it's like one of the best defenders and one of the best supporters. Like, it's just so versatile. It does everything. You can kind of play it with your team comp. Like, Umbreon is crazy. I don't know how they balance this thing, but like, they released this thing as one of the best Pokemon in the game. But with Umbreon out of the way, we only have a few left, and now it's going to be in our X tier. These are the meta-defining Pokemon. These guys are running the games. They're going to carry your games. Watch out for these guys. And if you want to, play these guys, if you want to win some games. I think at the bottom one, this is going to be a flaming hot take, but after the buffs, this guy is crazy. I'm going to put Inteleon into the X tier. I am scared of this guy. Like, it has so much. You could jungle it, but even in the lane, when it's Sobble and Drizzile, like, if you have the diamonds, it has automatic critical hit rate, and if you water gun, it will take every farm. Even if like the jungle comes down and has the diamonds and water gun, it can like at least take like 70% of the jungle. Like, this thing is wild. Like, I think it took a little while for people to learn how to play it because it has a large skill ceiling, but yo, Inteleon is slept on. Now it has even more mobility with that like Fell Stinger, like Spider-Man web slinging. You can hop on a wall and like jump away. Even like Acrobatic can jump to a wall, get him invisible, so you literally just can't hit it. I think this is like my flaming hot take of the video, but I think this guy is X tier. This guy is, I'm scared of this guy. Even its Unite move, I didn't even talk about its Unite move. Its Unite move will have automatic critical hit on everything, and you can see around, like, so like if you enter Rayquaza's like pit, and they're in the bushes and you're close enough, you'll just spot everybody else. So you can, it's so good. And Teleon is very, very strong. It is very easy to kill it if you can get to it. It's very frail. It's the only thing with liquidation, when it's like shooting its finger guns, it slows down, so it's easier to get. But if you play this at the perfect range, yo, this thing is a beast. Straight up a beast. Like, got me shaking in my bacon, straight up. Next, I'm gonna put my boy Mew. Mew is what they're always gonna have. Mew be a high tier in the game. Like, Mew is so good. It doesn't really have a single build because you're changing it the whole time. With the addition of the Slick Spoon, its special attack is so strong. Like, it does so much damage. It's secure. Like, so early game. Can have nothing with Mew when she's home. No security, no nothing, no food, no nothing. Mew's wild. Like, Electro Ball and Light Screen, so much damage on a low cooldown. It's boosted attack, so much damage out of burst damage. Solar Beam, Venusaur Solar Beam, a little less strong, but like you have Venusaur Solar Beam with Blastoise Surf and Pikachu Electro Ball. Like, it isn't even like it's all the Pokemon, but like it's all that and some. Like, Mew is impossible to knock out. It has so much mobility, you cannot catch this thing. Like, they're gonna go away with Light Screen, gonna push you away. It's gonna use Agility to run away. It's gonna use Unite move to disappear. You're gonna use Coaching to hop on somebody else and watch them run. Like, it's just, you can't get this Pokemon, and it's always in a range where like it seems like it's so far away. But Mew is so, and it does a lot of damage. Mew is so strong. Mew is definitely one of the best in the game. Period. I believe in Mew. Ever since it came out, I was like, yo, this guy is, from the idea of it alone, this guy is broken. Like, and it still is. Like, I love seeing Mew. I love playing Mew. It's one of I think it might be my favorite to play in the game, period. Like, it has such a big skill ceiling where it's like one of the hardest to play because you have to master the quick inputs of changing the moveset, using what moveset in what situation. Like, Mew is insane. It's always going to be really good. Next, flaming hot take, again, Zacian. We all know the story of Zacian. It came out being the most overpowered thing in the entire earth. They waited like 3 months to nerf it. And when they nerfed it, it was kind of like, alright, it's still really good. A nerf is a nerf. But still really strong. Zacian is crazy. Like, it's still Zacian. Like, I don't even know what else to say. It's just Zacian. It does so much damage. It powers itself up with Eos energy. It'll run in the fight, do a lot of damage, run back out, use Unite move to just secure everybody. Like, has so much critical hit rate. Its attack speed is so fast. Its move does so much damage. Zacian is still very strong. Very, very strong. I mean, they seem to want it this way. They don't want to nerf them too much. So, for now, it isn't the best in the game anymore. But it felt like 2 spots. So it's like, bro, this Pokemon is still crazy. Please nerf Zacian a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Next, I'm going to put Urshifu, the water Urshifu. This has been running through the game for a while. Like, everybody was crying about Zacian. And Urshifu has been doing, like, just doing his thing. They did nerf it a little bit. Does a little less damage on its Surging Strikes move. But the mobility on this thing, the critical hit on this thing, it just does so much damage. Like, you can stun this thing, you can stun it out of its combo, but it does so much damage. It has so much sustain on its liquidation, I think it is. Like, Urshifu is still crazy. At level 5, it has one of the best moves in the game with Surging Strikes. Like, it can push you up to tier 2 and kill you, and then just walk back to jungle, then come back and do the same thing. This guy is crazy. Like, they have to nerf Urshifu a little bit. Next, we only got 2 Pokemon left. I think we all know where this is going. Slowbro is wild. Slowbro is definitely the best defender. The thing about Slowbro is, whenever there's broken Pokemon running around, Slowbro becomes like everybody's favorite because its Unite move can just single that Pokemon that's broken and just stop it from doing its thing and knocking it out. Critical when Zacian was running around. Slowbro was pick rate just rose up the roof because everybody wanted to answer the Zacian, because you use your Unite move, it'll stop him out. Even without the Unite move, like, this dude does not die. Slowbro does so much damage. Its cooldown, even on Surf and Skull, does so much damage. Like, in the lane, it's a bully with Water Gun. It can secure, like, pretty much anything. Amnesia, you cannot knock this thing out. It has so much HP. It has so much defense. Slowbro is, we all know Slowbro. This guy is crazy. Also, it's one of the easiest to play. So, like, if you don't know who to pick on your team when you're playing solo queue, play Slowbro if you don't have one. Slowbro is one of the best in the game. Like, no matter what your jungle carry is going to be on the other team, or like their carry Pokemon, just throw Slowbro at him and it's going to knock him out. Slowbro is a beast. Straight up wild. But not as wild as, unfortunately, Mega Mewtwo X. This thing, I don't have to explain it. Everybody's seeing it on social media. Everybody's seeing it on everywhere. Mewtwo is wild. They saw it was so wild, they emergency nerfed it the night it came out. The thing about that is, it's still the best in the game. The nerf gives it less defense and more cooldown on the moves it has. So you have to play it, like, before you can just honestly enter in any team fight and just wipe everybody out and walk right out. Now you kind of have to play a little more, like, patient, and you kind of have to know when to go in, when you're going to die, when you're not. So you can't just, like, aimlessly run into a fight expecting to wipe everything out, but you can still enter a fight if you know what to do and wipe everybody out. Like, this thing is wild. I don't know when they're going to nerf this thing. Do they want it like this? It's just going to be like Zacian, where they want this to run the game for another, like, few months. I hope not, because this guy is a little crazy. I'm having a blast playing him, though. I will not admit, he is one of the funnest to play. But without the nerfs, with the nerfs, this thing does so much damage. It does so much critical hit. I'm walking out doing like 4,000 with one kick. Like, what is that? I can OHKO like Pikachu. It just OHKOs everybody. Even Mewtwo makes Slowbro look like a speedster. The amount of time it's just beating up Slowbro, the damage it's taking, like, Mewtwo is really good. Makes me scared for Mega Mewtwo Y. If it's gonna be the same thing, I don't know. Mega Mewtwo X, definitely the best in the game right now. The nerfs were nice, but it's still the best in the game. So what did I really do? But that's my tier list. If you don't agree with it, let me know where. This is my first tier list, so, and a lot of it is my opinion. I play the game a lot, but I'm not perfect. So let me know if you feel some type of way about it, who I should raise, who I should drop. But yeah, very long video. If you stay to the end, thank you. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. There's gonna be a new video posted probably this week, so stay tuned. And I'll see you guys later. Take it easy.